Let me ask the two of you a question. Have either of you ever been on the financial side of a funeral before? Funerals usually cost about $14,000. Most families have life insurance, and the way it used to work is what you'll do is you'll take that $50,000 policy. If something were to happen to Matt, you take his policy, give it to the funeral director. That would serve as collateral until the insurance check shows up. It doesn't work that way anymore. Insurance companies used to have to pay on your policy within 24 days. They now have up to 60 days to hold on to your policy. Why do you think that is? Exactly. Interest. Millions and millions of dollars they make on interest. And that's why so many families are burdened with the out of pocket costs when it comes to funeral time. Another thing that's going on is there's two companies going around the US and Canada and buying all of the funeral homes and cemeteries. One of them is out of Texas called SCI. The other one is out of Canada called the Alderwood Group. Their goal is to become the Walmart of the funeral industry. The reason I mention this is their company policy states they want 50% of all costs up front. Now, I'm not sure what your guys' financial situation is, but most families that I sit down with, they don't have $7,000 to cough up for a funeral. The ones that do, they want to hold on to that money because all the bills that fly in afterwards. That's why they came up with this. This is the Freedom of Choice Funeral Certificate. The way this works, Nicole, if something were to happen to Matt, it could be tomorrow, God forbid. It could be 50 years from now. It could be something like cancer. It can be a disease. It can be anything in between. It does not matter. Nicole, you're going to turn this paper around to the back side. You're going to write $14,000 or whatever that negotiated funeral was. You write that right here. Fill in any arrangements, sign as the beneficiary, then walk away. Go be with the kids. Everything else is completely taken care of. There's not one out of pocket cost that you have to worry about. As long as you keep Matt's funeral under $37,000 and Nicole, you keep his funeral under $37,000. These are two very important numbers because when you leave the funeral home, the funeral director is going to call our office right here and he's going to ask us two questions. The first, if I told them you had $37,000 to work with, how much do you think that funeral will magically cost? Exactly, $37,000. Shouldn't work that way. We don't allow it to work that way. What we do is we never reveal the number, and we ask that you never reveal the number. What we'll do is simply cut them a check for that 14,000 or whatever it was negotiated for, and we'll cut Nicole and the kids a check for the difference. Nicole, this is the cleanest, easiest, most compassionate way to go about what's going to happen to all of us. Sort of like a pre-arrangement. You've heard of pre-arrangements before? Yeah? Okay, these are great in concept. This is something like a pre-arrangement, except you're not locked to one funeral home. This is permanent and portable. A pre-arrangement can cost up to $100 a month, and you only get the amount of money that you put into it. Say if you paid on the pre-arrangement for a year at $100 a month, you only got $1,200 for a funeral. That's not going to cover it. This is a blank check for $37,000. You each have this. Does that make sense to you how this works? Do you see how important it is to have this? Why is this so important to you, Matt? What would you do without this? How about you, Nicole? What are you going to do without this when something happens to Matt? Exactly.